Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. We are going to be testing out playing with a brand new collection from Colourpop. It has been quite some time actually since I have actually reviewed an entire collection from Colourpop. Y'all know that I am a huge fan of the brand, so needless to say, I am really excited to be sharing this one with you guys. Spoiler, I have been using these products. The purpose of this video is just to show you everything in action. That way you can decide if it is something that you want to spend your hard-earned coin on. Now, this collection right now has been available exclusively through Ulta, but will be launching on the Colourpop website this Friday, February the 11th, which is really exciting. Colourpop was nice enough to send over their entire Melrose collection, and one product that I'm really excited to talk about in this particular collection is their face milk. Now, this is from Fourth Ray Beauty, which is their sister brand. This is the Oat Face Milk. So I definitely have a lot of thoughts on this. There are two blushes in this collection. Obviously, there is the Off Melrose eyeshadow palette, which is absolutely gorgeous. If you love warm and cool tones, you are going to love this palette. And there are also four brand new Luxe lip glosses. And I have to say that this is probably my favorite collection of shades in a collection thus far. This entire Melrose launch is a neutral lover's dream. I know a lot of us probably say, oh, you know, I already have so many neutral colors in my collection, but for me personally, I can't get enough. I always find that there is just a little bit of a difference in each thing that makes it justifiable enough for me to have these items in my collection. Now, the first thing I want to touch on before we dive into the eyeshadow palette, the lip glosses, and the blush, I do want to talk about the Fourth Ray Beauty Oat Face Milk. Now, this is my first time trying one of these. I have wanted to try these for some time. I love that they always kind of come out with something different. I know there's like an avocado and a strawberry, and they've got all these different ones. But the one thing I love about this one is, number one, it is fragrance free and there are no dyes or colorants in this particular face milk, which I believe those ingredients can be in some of the other ones that they have launched. The other thing I want to notate is that I absolutely have been obsessed with using this as a primer. It is so hydrating. I live in Minnesota, and for about nearly the past week, we have been in a polar vortex. My skin is going through it. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but I have a massive patch of just dry skin, eczema, something going on here. My skin is just so compromised right now, and this product has actually been very nourishing and calming on my skin. I am a huge fan of this product. So if you need some added hydration, you just want something a little bit more hydrating underneath your makeup that won't agitate your skin, but might actually give you a little bit more hydration, some calm, some plumpness, you guys get the drift. I think that this particular face milk is one that is definitely worth trying. It feels so beautiful on the skin. Let's go ahead and talk about the eyeshadow palette. So this is the Off Melrose eyeshadow palette. It is a 12-pan palette, very typical from what we usually see from Colourpop. I think that this is actually a really interesting layout of shades. Hear me out, because we've got a duochrome right here. We've got a pressed glitter right here, and the metallics in this palette, oh my goodness, wait till you guys see these in action. They are so incredibly reflective and dimensional. They are just fantastic. They pack a punch. In a moment, I will show you guys these in action. I just want to show you guys some swatches as well, just so you can kind of get an idea of the color story and the different textures and finishes that are in the Off Melrose palette. Let's move on to the blushes. Again, there are two different shades. We have Juice Bar, and then we also have Fashion District, and something really cute. If you purchase both of these blushes, the packaging actually goes together. So if you put them together, it actually says, I believe, yes, Colourpop on it, which is super cute. They kind of connect. Now, my favorite shade out of the two is Fashion District. It's like a deep apricot, very warm shade. Super beautiful, peachy, warm, corally. It's kind of got a mix of all of those colors in it. The blushes do have a mirror, which is nice. The packaging on this collection is so adorable. I just want to throw that out there as well. well. This is the shade Juice Bar. This one is a little bit more of a rosy mauvey pink tone, which is also beautiful as well. The great thing about these two shades is that honestly, these are gonna work on a ton of different skin tones, undertones as well, skin tones. You guys get what I'm trying to say, but these are very wearable shades and they are very neutral but kicked up a notch. They're very warm. Gives me very warm California spring vibes, hence the name Off Melrose. And then lastly in the collection, we have these 4 beautiful lip glosses. Let me tell you, for a very long time, I have been on the lip gloss train, and I don't see myself hopping off of that train anytime soon. It has just been my jam, especially because it's dry. I prefer a nice hydrating lip liner and then topping it with a gloss. These shades are absolutely beautiful. This one is my favorite. This is the shade Eclectic, and all of these, with the exception of one, which I'll show you in a moment, they do have a nice color payoff. They aren't totally opaque, but they do have some color payoff. But this one is just like that perfect light nude shade that I absolutely love. And I will show you in a moment as well what lip liner that I am obsessed with. Like right now, this gloss and this liner right here have been like my favorite lip combo recently. Then we also have the shade Cross Street. This one's just a little bit deeper, a little bit warmer. A beautiful shade as well. And then we have the shade Health Kick. Now, I love this shade as well. I am a brown lip junkie. I love brown lip shades. It just takes me back to the 90s. It's one of my absolute favorites. I don't wear it a lot, but it's just like high heels to me. Like I love high heels, but I never wear them. But I always want them. And that's kind of how it is with brown lip colors to me. Like I love brown lipsticks and lip glosses. It's just not something that I regularly reach for, but I love having them. They're so pretty to look at. And then lastly, which is awesome, there is this clear gloss right here called Let's Be Clear. Now, I don't know about you guys, but there is something extremely satisfying with the way that clear gloss looks. I don't know what it is. This is total visual ASMR for me. I'm just into it. I look at this and I like to look at it through the light. And it's just, I don't know what it is. Is that weird? It's just so satisfying for me to look at. So that is the Melrose collection. Let's go ahead. I'm going to zoom you guys in. We are going to create an eye look together using the Off Melrose eyeshadow palette. All right, now that I got you guys zoomed in on my very dry, crusty mug, please excuse that. We're going to go ahead and create an eyeshadow look. Now, I've already primed my lids with some concealer and some setting powder. I have pretty much tried, well, I would say probably 90% of the shades in this palette. And as we go along, I will definitely go ahead and give you my thoughts. I do kind of want to create a little bit more of a smokier look. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to start off with this shade right here, Boutique. Now, this is a matte shade that does have some sparkle in it, reflex in it. But as soon as you tap off your brush, the sparkle will go away. Now, if you want to take advantage of the sparkle in the shade, use your finger, apply it directly to the lid, and then buff out the edges with a brush. That way you can take advantage. Now, these are very, very pigmented. I'm going to use my Elysium brush. These don't have numbers, they just have names. This one says Nuri on it. But I have been loving these brushes. And I'm just going to gently, with a very light hand, work that into the crease as my transition shade. I do want to note that right now I have extremely dry eyelids. I almost thought that I was going to get away with not having my dermatitis or my eczema act up, but then that cold front came in. That was a thing of the past. I've talked about this on my channel very briefly, but I have something called cyclic dermatitis. And essentially what that is during my womanly cycle, I experience dermatitis on certain parts of my face. This just started happening to me within the last couple of years, I would say, give or take. And I just noticed over time that when this would flare on my skin was during different parts of my cycle. And I just randomly decided to Google this one day and it popped up, and it's super rare. I think it's rare because a lot of women might not know what it is or might not put two and two together, but I track my cycle in my phone and I started to keep track of different symptoms I was having. And lo and behold, after tracking it, I put two and two together and discovered that this was happening to my skin. So long story short, the areas that I experience this in are on my eyes, like up here, like under my brow and right here. Sometimes it happens underneath my eyes right here, and then I will get it all above my lip and every once in a while right here. And I can see it's healing, but it's happening right here as well. And you can probably see my makeup breaking up a bit right there. And it makes it really hard on days that I want to review complexion products because it will last for a good week. And the way that I treat it is with cortisone and aquifer. All right, so way too much information on my personal bodily functions, but maybe somebody else is watching this and experiences it as well and now has some answers. So there we go. We blended out the shade Boutique. This is a beautiful mid-tone shade. It's not necessarily warm, but it's not necessarily very cool. Blends easy. It is a really beautiful transition or all over lid shade. So we're gonna take a little bit more of a detailed brush. I don't even know what brush this is. It has completely rubbed off. I think this is one that Morphe did with Jeffree Star, something like that, but there it is. I just like the shape of it and it works well. We're gonna go ahead and deepen this up. We're gonna dip into this shade right here down to Earth. Now this shade is very pigmented. I dip my brush in like one time and bam, we've got pigment. So I'm just gonna use this. Do you see that? Be kind of careful because it can overpower really quickly. I'm just gonna put this on the outer corners and just blend that right up a bit into the crease just to kind of deepen everything up. Now this shade, you do have to be a little bit careful with. I mean, this is pretty typical for a deeper shade like this. I find that sometimes deeper browns, especially cool tone browns, can be a little bit tricky to blend. So I kind of always start with putting it kind of on the lid first, getting a lot of the color there, and then kind of blending it up into the crease and where else I want to deepen it because it can start to look a little bit patchy. And I don't want to say that it's this palette specifically because like I said, I've experienced it in other palettes as well, but just something to take note of with this particular shade. But it does blend. It just takes a little tiny bit of extra effort, at least for me. And again, that could be because of my dry skin and everything else that's going on. But you can see I get just a little bit of patchiness out here. It's weird. I feel like it's blending easier on this eye than it is on this one. And it could just be that my left eye is always the ugly stepsister. Because as you can see, it blended out pretty nicely on this eye. I'm just going to go back in with that original brush just to kind of smooth out and blend everything on this eye. Yeah, I definitely think that my dry skin might be having something to do with this choppiness a bit on this eye because it's not doing it on this eye. But take a break from here. I think I'm going to work on the lower lash line. Sometimes I like to do this because I'll come back. I'm kind of deciding what I want to do up here. But on the lower lash line, I think I'm just going to go back into Boutique right here, that first shade that we laid down. I'm just going to use a pencil brush. I'm just going to drag that along the lower lash line, being a little bit messy with it. And then sticking with that same brush, I'm going to dip into this shade right here, $10 Latte, which is a little bit more of a warmer but deeper brown shade. This is also a shade I could have used to warm up the outer corners as well. Stick with that same brush and just keep that very close to the lash line, focusing that on the outer part. Keep stabbing myself in the eye. I can't do this right now. What is wrong with me? All right, so in the center of the lid, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, La Brea or La Brea. I hope I'm saying that wrong. I think it's La Brea. And I'm just going to pop that in the center of the lid. I like to take a deeper metallic and then blend it in to the deeper shade that I have laid out here. It just makes the look a little bit more cohesive and adds just a little bit more dimension to the look. I'm not the most highly skilled person when it comes to eyeshadow, And I feel like this makes me look like I really know what I'm doing. I don't know. It just makes me look like the finished look makes it look like I'm way better at eyeshadow than I really am. Let's just say that. All right, perfect. I like that. Now I want to go into this duochrome shade right here. This is so gorgeous. I just have to use it. This is a shade Fairfax, and I'm going to use my finger for that as well. And I'm going to press that on the inner corners and blend that in to that other shade. Oh my goodness. I love duochromes. Colourpop, if for some crazy reason you see this video, please make a palette full of duochromes. I would buy that. Like maybe make a palette with like a few like neutral, like transitional shades, and then make it all like a bunch of different duochromes. I think a lot of people would be obsessed, and I can pretty much guarantee that it would probably become your best-selling palette. Comment down below if you guys agree, because I feel like that could be like the best thing ever. This look is so fun. When you look at this palette, you almost wouldn't think that this is the look that would come out of this palette, but I am obsessed. This is gorgeous. I'm gonna take the Laura Lee Los Angeles, this is the L16 brush, and I'm gonna dip into the shade right here, Trading Post, and I'm gonna use that as my inner corner highlight. One thing I love about Colourpop metallics is that they are so reflective, and I rarely have to like dampen my brushes. They just work beautifully. That is gorgeous, especially with the shades I have on my lid. All right, and we're gonna take just a little bit of that up here on the brow bone, nothing too insane. I don't really like a blinding brow bone highlight personally. I like a little bit more of a sheen, like when it hits the light, but nothing too much more intense than that. Let's go ahead and get some blush on the cheeks. I'm gonna go ahead and use this shade right here, Fashion District, out of the two, because this is my favorite one. And I'm gonna use my Yori Elysium brush. I'm obsessed with these brushes. They are so good. Just gonna dip in 1 time, 2 times, tap off the excess, and just put that right over the highlight I already have on. Look at that. Beautiful. Colourpop blushes are just fantastic. They are some of my favorites. Like, look at that, didn't take much at all, and it just gave me the most beautiful natural blush. Beautiful. Why the heck not? Let's layer it just for testing purposes, just so I can show you guys. Let's dip into Juice Bar once, and why not? We'll just add a little bit of that right on top. Beautiful. This one does have more of a satin finish. I don't know if you guys can see that. A little bit of a shine to it. Fashion District doesn't look like it does. At least to me, looking at the pan, this one is just matte. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the glosses. I do want to show you guys my favorite combo, and that is the Colourpop Lippy Pencil in the shade BFF, the liner right here, and then I like to top it with this one right here, Eclectic. The Colourpop lip liners are so bomb. I actually just discovered them the last couple of months. I bought a set over their Black Friday deals, and I am so glad I did. Look at that color. They are just stunning, and they go on with ease. All right, so here we are, the shade Eclectic. You guys, look at that lip combo. Again, I feel like this combo would work with so many different skin tones, and this formula is so comfortable. It's not sticky. So good. This combo is fantastic. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my eyes, put on some mascara, some eyeliner, and then I will be right back with the final look and my final thoughts. All right, so here is the completed look. You guys, this eye look is absolutely stunning. So let's start with the eyeshadow palette, because I have been playing with this on and off for a little under a week now, and I will tell you that this is actually one of my favorite palettes from Colourpop. I am actually shocked by that, because I usually don't love cooler tone shadows, but the mix of shades in this palette are just so good. You can come up with so many different looks. I do like that there is the pressed glitter option, that there is a duochrome shade in here, and they have these 2 different highlight shades right here, something that is cool and more warm tone. This one right here is another really interesting shade that I absolutely love. This one right here called Brunch. It's a very coppery, kind of warm tone shade. I love that they have these glittery mattes in here. There is just a really nice collection of shades in here as far as warm, cool tones, like I've stated a million times. But again, like I've also stated a million times, I love that there's different finishes in this palette, and the packaging is just absolutely gorgeous. I am a huge fan of the palette. This is worth it alone just for the shade right here, Fairfax, this duochrome. It looks so cool on the eyes. I can't stop looking in my mirror. Like, it is just the most fun shade. I actually lined my waterline. Oh, what did I do with it? This green liner right here, this is from the Raw Beauty Christie Colourpop collection. This is in the shade Spare Time, and the green in the waterline just makes this kind of duochrome teal, green, purpley shift look so cool. Like, my eyes are just popping. If you have brown eyes, this combination is just fantastic. I did think that I had a little bit of trouble with this shade right here, Down to Earth, but like I said, I think it was because of the dryness on my eyes, because ultimately I did get it to blend, and this eye I had no problems with. Overall, this palette is absolutely stunning. I love it. It's so good. The blushes, you guys saw them in action. I really don't have much to say other than the fact that I think that they're gorgeous. The formula is fantastic, and I do like the 2 shade selections. I like that this is going to be compatible with a ton of different skin tones, undertones, all that good stuff, but it does look beautiful on the skin. I didn't have any issues with blending. I think that the pigmentation is really nice, not too faint, but not overly pigmented, kind of just right in the middle, which is perfect and exactly what I look for in a blush. I can't rant and rave enough about the Oat Face Milk. This is fantastic, hydrating, makes for an awesome base for makeup, or even just in your regular skincare routine if you just need an extra boost of hydration. This one is so good. I have been loving this. I've been using it nearly every single day since I've got it. And then last but not least, the 4 glosses, which again are absolutely beautiful. There is something in this gloss collection for everyone, every skin tone. There is pretty much a neutral here for everyone, and I love that they included the clear shade as well. Out of all of the Colourpop collections that I have actually received, and out of all of the Colourpop collections, I have to say that this one is one of the most cohesive that I have seen. The light pink packaging here with the glosses, and just the overall vibe of the packaging on the blushes and the palette. This is just such a total mood. I love it. I think that this is super cute, and it feels a little bit different. I really do enjoy it. I think that if you're looking to try something new from Colourpop, if you haven't gotten anything from them in a while, or you're just a neutral girl like me and you want something that's neutral but just a little bit different. I mean, look at this eye look. Come on, it's beautiful. I think that this is definitely a collection to consider. I do have a code with Colourpop. It is not a commission code. I don't make any money off of it, but if you use the code 5Krystalkbeauty at checkout, you will get $5 off of your order of $20 or more. Feel free to use that code while you're doing your shopping with Colourpop. It'll save you a little bit of money. Of course, there probably is some sort of restrictions that apply with new launches and all that good stuff. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think of this collection. Is there anything from this that you are now considering picking up? What are your thoughts? And again, I want to know what you guys think about my idea on Colourpop coming out with a duochrome palette. I think that that is just awesome. Or like duochrome quads. I think that they could pull it off. If a brand is going to do it, Colourpop, I think that they need to be the ones to do this. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it, and of course, share it. That helps me so much. If you enjoy my content, share it with your friends and family on social media. If you really want to help me out and help spread the word about this channel and you enjoy what I do here, that is something that helps me out a ton. Your interaction in general helps me out. So thank you to those who comment and watch and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Y'all are the real MVP. I love you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Mwah. Bye guys.